Management systems and autopilot. Starting off, flight management system, also known as the FMS. Essentially, this is the brain to your aircraft, right? Your aircraft is not just a GPS. The GPS has other functions as well. Like if you're using G430, the G3X, G1000, or something like that, right? It manages other things other than just navigation. Yes, it stores information about departures, arrivals, and all the procedures you've loaded in, but also does other things like calculate ETA, fuel burn, distance, and all the other stuff. So essentially, it's just your brain of the aircraft. Yeah, I mean, calculates literally everything. Your literal brain of the aircraft. That's kind of it. It talks to most other systems like Autopilot, PFD. All the information goes into this thing. It's a giant flight computer essentially. It's not too much about the FMS. You can read about it here in the IFH chapter 5. All right, going on to Autopilot. So our plane does not have an autopilot, but you still should be able to talk about it just a little bit. So basic autopilot systems in general aviation are generally two-axis autopilot systems. This just means that it controls in two control axes, usually pitch and roll, meaning that it does not control yaw, it does not control power. So these are the first two major errors when it comes to autopilot management and automation management. People forget that power in yaw is controlled by them. Other threats with autopilot systems, generally you can have two modes of climbing or descending. It's either based off airspeed or vertical speed. When you climb, you want to be using airspeed, because whatever you set in the autopilot, it will do whatever in its power to maintain exactly what you set. The autopilot is very stupid. Garbage in, garbage out, and so it will try to kill you. What this means is if you try to climb in vertical speed mode, and you get really high where your vertical speed is impossible to maintain, this aircraft will try to stall you out and kill you. Another threat with autopilot systems: icing. This book and many other books recommend that if you were to fly into icing conditions, in an icing approved aircraft of course, and you have autopilot on, disengage every now and then and see how the plane feels. This is because when you get ice on the aircraft, decreased lift, increased drag, increased weight, means that you have to fly at a higher angle of attack to maintain that lift. Again, autopilot's very stupid. All it knows is what you set in it. It'll do everything in its power to maintain exactly that. So you're flying at 10,000, you set at 10,000, it'll maintain 10,000. Now you get ice at 10,000. Pitches up, pitches up, pitches up. Now you stall out because you didn't realize the aircraft was pitching up the entire time. Another major issue, people don't realize what they have set in the autopilot. So all autopilot systems will always have some sort of alerting system. Most of these are called like FMAs, like Flight Management Annunciator, or something along the lines of that. Anyways, this screen right here will tell you exactly what is set at a certain time. Pilots get complacent really easily, and they tend to ignore obvious things. An example of this, for roll settings, you can either have heading mode on or course mode on. The course mode will follow your navigation, your GPS, FMS. Your heading mode will follow your heading bug. Very easy to select one or the other and not notice which one's which. So pay attention to your flight management annunciator there. Yeah, there's not too much about autopilot you got to mention. Just make sure you emphasize reading the owner's manual for that autopilot system. Each one has its unique limitations, such as when to disengage, what's the minimum altitude to engage autopilot, stuff like that. Just be careful out there with autopilot. Oh, and the most important rule before I end this, if the autopilot does something that you don't want it to do, disengage. There we go. That's it.